welcome to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going, fam? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you are taking advantage of this time to realign your life, realign your family, realign everything, your entire circumstances to the new realities that are before us. Because, from here, in terms of when it comes to the matrix, when it comes to that society we were used to, it's literally downhill from here. All we're going to see from here on out is more and more freedoms of people being taken away, etc., etc. But those are really stories for another day. And make sure that you are watching, the prophetic updates that I'm giving. I'm feeling so called to do them. Just really, because it's a spiritual download. They're literally spiritual downloads. I can't really take credit for the wisdom that I share. And I just really do pray that it blesses your life. Now, there's a global scramble for everything. Face masks, ventilators, because this coronavirus, this pandemic has got many nations unawares. Although it's still very unclear exactly what we're dealing with because, there's so many stories out there and theories, etc., etc. But the divided states is actually being accused by its own allies of using bandit tactics, wild west tactics, and modern piracy to secure some of these ventilators and face masks that are like really in high demand. And it's crazy when you see that countries like Germany, France, and Canada have all been robbed from by the divided states. But for me, when I see so much division within these white supremacy nations, I just know it confirms to me what I've been saying for so long about the secret society war that's been going on ever since Trump got to power. The globalists had it. And I'm telling you, if Hillary had been president right now, this pandemic would be worse than it is in the divided states alone, let alone in the world. The fact that, his secret society was able to just do whatever they did and get him selected, because no one is ever elected. I'll do a separate show on that. I'm going into, spiritual wisdom. But anyway, what has happened is, first of all, Germany has accused the divided states of competing for vital healthcare resources using wild west tactics. And what Germany said is they actually accused the divided states of confiscating 200,000 face masks that Berlin had already paid for. And what the Berlin Interior Minister Andreas Giesel said is that the divided states officials actually intercepted. This is gangster, yo. This is gangster. They intercepted a shipment of 200,000 masks in Bangkok, which were intended for use by the Berlin police. And what happened, allegedly, is they were literally going from one plane to another. Literally, from here to there. And somehow they got seized by the divided states and they vanished. And doesn't that, first of all, Germany is having the worst luck ever. If you remember, I did a story almost 2-3 weeks ago talking about how 6 million masks that, had been bypassing through Kenya, intended for Germany, somehow vanished in Kenya. And we were all trying to figure out, was a factory in Kenya? Because the Kenyan government totally denied even knowing of the presence of these 6 million masks. Of course, Kenyans saying that our government definitely took them, But this makes you wonder, because the U.S. has been moving very heavily into Kenya, army-wise, after their whole, base in one of our islands near Lamu. Manda Island was actually attacked. So they've been coming in big numbers. So could they be the ones who were involved in this? So Germany, how do you take what? And so the Interior Minister said, illegal methods must not be used. This is particularly true between partners. Of course. Who's a partner, man? I swear. The white supremacy is eating themselves. Oh, and you guys have said I shouldn't call them supremacy because they're not. Anyway, sorry, it's for other days. And, this German minister, he went on to say, even if they are in short, this is particularly true between partners, even if they are in short supply. If the reports on such events are confirmed, the federal government must address the issue and call for consequences. And the state of Berlin is alleged to have purchased from the U.S. company these masks, but according to a local German daily, they were actually manufactured in China, and somehow, the divided states got a hold of them. And, let me make a correction, actually. So the head of the SDP, which is the parliamentary group, it's one of the most powerful parliamentary groups in Germany, is the one that made that statement. The Berlin interior minister just confirmed that the U.S. Officials had allegedly taken the 200K face mask. Anyway, let's take a short break. When we come back, I'll tell you what's been happening because the French are complaining, the Canadians are complaining. What's going on? Why is Trump becoming like a global, turning the divided states into like a global thief? This is insane. We'll be right back.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa.
Hello and welcome to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I pray you're well, freely, aware, I don't even know how to say it. Free from the virus, free from the fear virus, not only just a physical virus, which, the whole world is acting like a bioweapon was released upon, unleashed upon humanity. And yet, the powers that be, the secret societies, of course, are not gonna, allow this moment to pass them by. But what is really going on? What is really happening? By the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Go ahead and consider sending us a love donation through our PayPal account, or maybe joining our Patreon account, so that we can continue to upload more episodes. Now, I just felt very prophetically led to kind of share a bit on, what's going on, what's happening in terms of, everything that we're seeing in terms of coronavirus. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's game over. It's literally game over. The powers that be have pulled the rug from under our feet. They have literally called a time out. And what happened is that 2019 was such an epic year of battle. It was such an epic year of transformation for many, and many, fighting for their inheritance, even their spiritual inheritance, fighting inner and external demons, and really asserting themselves. A lot of people said, 2019 was the hardest year. And then at the beginning of the year, I said, this is the year of the opening. And what we saw was a rapid acceleration of, what the powers that be are trying to do is close the opening. But first and foremost, we must remember that, this is a world with no end. And so if anything is going to end, it's a system of way of life. And what I want to say is that the way of life that you knew about 3 weeks ago, the way of life that you knew last year, that life is not coming back. That life will never be the same again, because enough of us have awakened to, to shake up and to frighten the powers that be. And so I've been saying this for so long, there's an epic secret society war going on behind the scenes. And, it is kind of reaching its culmination. If you look in the media, in the alternative media, let me say that, you'll see a lot of mention of, certain indictments being made against certain celebrities that have been, really involved in a lot of Luciferian systems, etc., etc. But what we're seeing now is that the New World Order, the Illuminati, the people that control this world, have shut the game down. They have shut the matrix down, and life will never be the same again. And what they're planning on doing, they're not going to reopen the matrix. I mean, there's people who are sitting at home thinking, oh, in a couple of weeks this will be over and we'll go back to, our lives and our social and our going to church. No, that life is gone, especially in certain countries. I mean, this lockdown could be indefinite. They've shut down the game. They've shut down the matrix. But this should not put fear in you. This should actually trigger something in you, that it's time to now create our next reality. It's time to create our next game. It's time to create our next world, however you want to see it. That time has come. And it's very, very important that we start to equip ourselves with that, with that knowledge, with that wisdom, and with that spiritual insight into what will our lives look like next. Because let me tell you, after the epidemic is done, or the pandemic, this coronavirus epic false flag, the next thing that's coming is an economic collapse. They are going to literally collapse, banking systems across the world, and then they're going to create a new currency, pushing and shifting towards this new world order with one world currency, one world police. And we've seen how the police, all over the world, they're literally acting, it's literally like copy paste, because the police system and the army system have been systems of the new world order that were put in place at independence.
Wake up, Africa!
Welcome back, fam, to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. Trump really going around stealing people's stuff. Like, is that how we're going to do this? Damn. But for me, it screams what I've been talking about, the major secret society wars that are going on between Trump's administration and the globalists. And you saw in the break a small clip of me talking about it, but I've done so many videos on that, because that's something I've just been seeing it ever since Trump got into office. There's so much confusion. And the French, first of all, so the Germans continued complaining, and in fact this SDP parliamentary group head, a gentleman who goes by the name of Rolf Mutzenich, he said, even in times of global crisis, we should not be ruled by Wild West methods, as he urged Germany to take some kind of action, the German government, and to put pressure on Trump to abide by the international rules. You think so? Really? You globalists put this on Trump's doorstep, and you think he's just going to turn around and be like, let's play fair? Anyway, the French have also come out and they've accused the divided states of buying up all protective medical gear, including masks, in China that had been meant for France. I said, this is crazy. So Valérie Pécresse, some government official, she actually came out and said a shipment of protective masks was snatched up at the last minute by Americans who made a higher bid. Like, damn. And this actually appeared in the French news, AFP, and it said, the Americans pay cash, sight unseen. And I told you guys, Europe ain't doing well financially, and you guys don't want to believe me. If France didn't have Africa, it would be a third world country. You guys have heard that enough times. But anyway, they said, Americans pay cash, sight unseen, which obviously can be more tempting for people just looking to make money off the entire world's distress. I know this isn't funny, but to me, it's actually, in a way, like, so messed up, it's funny. And even the Canadians are complaining. This is just insane. Seriously, fam, this is crazy. The Canadian Prime Minister, actually, Justin Trudeau, he actually came out last Thursday, and he said he felt concerned by a report that a mask order arrived smaller than expected because some of it was bought by a higher bidder. This is so insane. Like, the white supremacy nations, like, inferiority, whatever you want to call them, they're fighting each other. It's crazy. And Trudeau went on to say, we understand the needs of the divided states are very extensive, but it's the same in Canada, so we have to work together. And imagine, for them to be publicly talking about this, they must have tried to go to Trump, and he must have been like, so, and what are you going to do? Utadu, as we say in Kenya. Anyway, most countries worldwide were unprepared for COVID-19, and so they don't have the capacity to even manufacture the millions of masks that their health workers need daily, let alone the ventilators, etc., etc. And Trump hasn't stopped there. So there's this multinational company called 3M that produces a lot of ventilators and stuff. It's a U.S. company, but they have companies, I think they have shipment plants or whatever you want to call them, in both Latin America as well as in Canada. And Trump issued a directive where he forced them to stop supplying any face masks or respirators to any other country, even the countries they're in, and only supply the divided states. Now, the CEO of 3M, he actually came out and he said, he warned the divided states that, blocking shipments to other countries could actually negatively affect, the divided states and create an unnecessary humanitarian crisis, because other countries might turn around and say, yo, if you're not going to sell to us, we're not going to sell to you. It's just really crazy what we're seeing. Trump had actually asked India for help in terms of, he wanted to buy up like almost, half of their stockpile of chloroquine. And he was turned down by Prime Minister Modi, who said they're keeping all their chloroquine supplies for their own nations. A lot of Africans have been quietly healing their people using the chloroquine they have or the other methods they have, but they have been quite hush-hush about the methods that are being used on the continent. We are not copy-pasting, but it's like Africans are keeping kind of quiet about what they're doing. But it's a new day. It's not just a new day for Africa, but it looks like even there's a new breed of of American president too. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and share this video. Until next time, fam. Mwah.